What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am Jake, aka Jake the Bills fan, and the schedule has come out. And I'm sure you already know that. You clicked on this video because I'm breaking down the schedule, and we're going to go week by week. We're going to go through it. I'm not going to go into detail because during this off season, I do every week want to do like a way too early in depth, like I would during the regular season, while I'm talking about these teams that we're facing. Ladies and gentlemen, I love our schedule. Our schedule is actually really I think it's kind of forgiving, but it's also brutal in some places, and we'll talk about that. And I'm not going to give an official what I think that the final record could be. I did that in my podcast that will be dropping tomorrow on the Built in Buffalo podcast network. So make sure to go and do that. That is just a full 1 hour and 40 minutes of straight breaking down every single game and what we actually think. I did that with my brother as well. So make sure to go check that out and check out all the other podcasts that are on there because there are so many other good creators on there. So let's get into it, man. Week 1, Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a perfect game to start off our season, only because the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line is an absolute shambles. Like, I thought for sure in the first round that they needed to draft an offensive lineman to help Big Ben, but you know what they did? They went out and they got Najee Harris. Now, I'm not saying that Najee Harris isn't going to make them better because he's going to be a good running back. But until that offensive line is fixed, I think it's a great game for our new pass rush and whoever's back there at the time. Thankfully, we have a preseason that will help us understand which players are going to be at those positions. I do believe that the pass rush is going to have a field day and Big Ben is going to be in trouble. That is an easy dub for us. And then we've got the Dolphins week 2. And this is one that I was kind of up and down about because while Josh Allen is the Miami Dolphins daddy, I do think that there are some things going into this game that maybe we're just not gelled yet. Maybe we're coming off a high if we absolutely destroy Pittsburgh week 1, but I still think this is a dub. This is an away game, and I was originally going to go to this game. It was a thing that I was throwing around with my brothers to see if we were going to go. This is also another dub, and just rolling into the next week, the Washington football team, their defense is spectacular. They were a better team than everybody gave them credit for last offseason. And to be completely honest with you, it all comes down to Ryan Fitzpatrick if they're going to win that game or not. Because I think, in all honesty, at home, I think the Washington football team just isn't going to be able to do anything with their secondary to stop the Buffalo Bills. So I think that's another dub. Going 3-0 into the Houston Texans. Big question mark on this team. Most likely, I think that Tyrod Taylor will be their quarterback, depending on what happens with the Deshaun Watson situation. Deshaun Watson, I think even if he does cleared, is already hell-bent on not playing for that organization. So I think that no matter what Houston Texan team comes into Buffalo, they're getting their ass whooped. 4-0. Then we get to go into the Kansas City game where we're going to Kansas City in Arrowhead. And look, as much as I want us to get revenge for the AFC Championship last year, this game all depends on coaching. I go into that in my podcast. It all depends if Sean McDermott goes into this game and is ready to give Andy Reid his all and not play scared. I think they're still going to just try to overly game plan for this game, and we're going to end up taking the loss, especially with our defensive line. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get a pass rush that consistent enough against that newly built Chiefs offensive line, which somehow they were able to afford. So I'm going to chalk that up as an L. 4-1 going into Tennessee, where we will get revenge for what happened last offseason. See, I think not offseason, but during the season, I think that the NFL schedule makers said, hey, Josh Allen was hurt that year, so we're going to give them basically the same two teams back to back and let them try to get revenge. I think that we do beat the Titans because I think they take a step back from last year. I think their secondary still needs some help. While their defensive line has taken a step forward, I still think that their defense is not good enough to be able to stop the Buffalo Bills. So that is another dub, taking us to 5-1. And then we get the Miami Dolphins at home. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter what Dolphins team marches in there. I think the Buffalo Bills are just an overall superior team. Dolphins fans, don't like me for it, but I'm going to be a homer with this one. I think we absolutely destroy the Dolphins, and it's not even going to be funny. And that takes us to 6-1. And then we're going to the game that I actually get to go to this year, because if you don't know, I live in Florida, so I wanted to go to at least one of the games in Florida. I really wanted to go to the Bucks game, but these resellers with these damn tickets being like $7,000, it's absolutely ridiculous. I don't want to go see the game that much, but we're going, and we get the Jacksonville Jaguars here in Florida. And to be completely honest with you, I don't know why this game would not be. I don't know what the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be. Is Tim Tebow the starting tight end one for the Jacksonville Jaguars? Not sure what Trevor Lawrence is going to be. While they are a slightly better team, I don't think that they're anywhere close to being able to beat a contender. And if they do, it's going to be an upset. And I am going to be upset that I attended that game if the Buffalo Bills lose. So that is another dub for us, and that is 7-1. Then we get the Jets. While I think that their defense is going to be fairly solid, I think their offense still needs to take a huge step forward. They're going to take maybe a baby step forward. Their offensive line is going to be slightly better. They're going to have some okay weapons on the edge with Denzel Mims, Elijah Moore probably in the slot, and then they've got a guy like Corey Davis on the other side. I think they're going to be somewhat better than last year. Obviously, you got to be better than winning 2 games. But the New York Jets are not going to beat the Buffalo Bills, and it's probably going to be handedly as well. Now we get the Colts, who, and I don't think this is a hot take at all, the Colts are going to be one of the best. I think they might be the best overall built team in the NFL, and I don't think that that is a stretch to say. From their trenches, I think the only thing that maybe they lack still a little bit in is their secondary, but other than that, and maybe some wide receiver depth, other than that, I think that last year they would have beat us had they had any other quarterback back there except for Phillip Rivers. So I'm going to say that the Colts are going to hand us another loss. So now we get to go into the Thanksgiving game, ladies and gentlemen. We get to play on Thanksgiving again against the Saints. And I see a lot of people chalking this up as an L for us. I think that the Buffalo Bills are going to go in there, and I think there's a lot of question marks with the Saints team going on right now, and I don't know for sure whether or not their quarterback situation is going to be solved. Maybe after getting LASIK, famous Jameis is actually going to be a formidable quarterback, and they're going to be an okay team. I think their team is built well round. There's reports that they might be after Aaron Rodgers, but they have no money to do that, so I think those reports are bullshit. I think we get the dub here down in Louisiana, and I think that that would be an awesome game to go to, and I think the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen are going to be hungry for that turkey leg after the game. And then we get the New England Patriots at home. And this is what's weird, right? We get the Patriots towards the end of the season. So if for some reason Cam Newton is not working out at this point, I would already assume that they have switched to the Mac Jones train. And if Mac Jones is their quarterback, then I do not believe that they beat the Buffalo Bills, especially in Buffalo with Bills Mafia going absolutely nuts. I think that we beat the Patriots. I don't think that the Patriots are going to be a slouch, no matter who's back there at center. I think their team is just way too well built, especially on defense. They're going to be knockout, drag-out games, but I think that the Bills just have enough firepower that they will be able to overcome that. And we've got the X factor in Josh Allen, and that's the thing. If you've got a guy like Josh Allen back there, that's the difference between the Pats and the Bills, is that there's an X factor at quarterback, and the Pats just don't have that yet. Maybe Mac Jones can be that guy for them, but it's certainly not Cam Newton. Mark it up as another dub. And then we get to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think at this point the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be in full force. During my podcast, I said that I think the Bills are going to take the dub here. You know, just thinking about it, Sunday 4:25 down in Florida. I think that the Bucs will be at full force, and I think that the Buffalo Bills will take a loss here. As much as I don't want them to, I really, really don't want them to, but I think that they will, and the Buffalo Bills will be taking a loss December 12th, Sunday at 4:25 to the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then we get a game that could be flexed in the primetime. Who knows? Depends on what the teams actually look like at this point. The Carolina Panthers with Sam Darnold under center. I think that the Carolina Panthers are much improved. Their offense is just better now with Sam Darnold back. And that's not saying that Teddy Bridgewater is not a quarterback that's not going to be an X factor back there. But I think that Sam Darnold is finally going to be put in a system where it can show his strengths. And that's what you wanted with Sam Darnold, and something that the Jets could never do. So definitely, I think that the Bills win this game, but I think it's going to be a good game to watch, and I can't wait for it. Dub against the Panthers. So then we get the Patriots in Foxborough. And this is where everybody's saying, oh boy, the Patriots will be back. And I think at this point in the season, the Patriots won't be back. And unless they're trying to compete for a wild card spot, I think that the Patriots at this point probably have Mac Jones in at quarterback. And I think last year, even though there were no fans in the stands, we dispelled the myth that the Foxborough curse was there. Like, oh, you go into Foxborough and you're going to get your ass kicked. Well, I think we're going to go in there in front of all of those mass holes, and we are going to kick the ever-living shit out of the Patriots again. And I think it's not even going to be funny. Dub for the Bills going into Foxborough. And then we're going to get the Atlanta Falcons, which I think this is going to be a good game as well. I think Atlanta pretty much just sealed the deal in saying that they're all in keeping Matt Ryan for these last couple of years. But, things have come out, and Julio Jones wasn't on their graphic to start the season that had their offense on it. There's a ton of stuff going on with that. Maybe he goes to the Packers and just to keep Aaron Rodgers there. Who knows? I think no matter what, I think the Falcons' defense and their secondary was just god-awful, and they really didn't do much to address that. They got some pretty decent picks in the draft, but nobody that I think is going to really, really contribute and stand out, unless I'm wrong. Maybe at this point, some rookies have come out and just absolutely shown that they're studs. I think that their defense just can't handle us, and I think their firepower I think it all comes down to who can stop who, and I think that the Falcons cannot stop us, but we can stop the Falcons. So chalk that up as another dub. And then the New York Jets to finish out the season. I think Mitchell Trubisky is playing this game. And guess what? After that, Mitchell Trubisky is going to just drop the hammer down on the Jets to end the season. And that is going to be our final dub of the season. So, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much just sums it up. I have the Bills going 14-3 to end the season, and I think that that is a really, really good record. Again, I'm not going to be able to truly tell you if that's going to win the AFC or not, or get us a 1 seed, if that even matters anymore. But 14-3 is an amazing record, and I think that that's something that's just off the top of the head. There's a couple of games there that could be thrown up. Maybe the New Orleans Saints are better than expected. Maybe the Titans don't take the step back that we think. Maybe the Steelers actually are a pretty decent team, even after Big Ben is going to be on his ass all the time. So that's pretty much it. That is breaking down the entire Buffalo Bills schedule at a glance. Like I said, during these weeks going up, I will do way too early really in-depth details into the game and why I think the Buffalo Bills will win or lose the game, and it's way too early, but I'm just going to do it because that gives content for everybody on the channel, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And if you are not already, subscribe to the Football Mafia. Mafia means family, and I would love for you to join mine. I have been Jake, aka Jake the Bills fan, and I will see you guys in the next video.